sure, but I think it's like when a plant or an animal moves into an environment that's not safe.
A non-native plant or animal?
Any species that takes over.
I know that an invasive species is anything that's not native to like Ohio.
Alien or something, you know, like they took out of the world. What? I don't know.
Yes, it's a species not native to a particular area or place that is placed there for some reason or another, sometimes by chance, sometimes by choice.
It's like whales and historical animals, I guess.
I think it would be something that's not natural to the area that grows and then there's nothing to stop it, so it just continues to grow or be a predator in that area.
One that isn't native to here that's brought to the country.
I'm guessing it's invasive to the environment.
Plant has come from usually Europe or Asia. In case of Phragmites, it's even from Iraq. You know, and it's taken away from its natural ecosystem and taken away the things that naturally eat it. So then it gets out of control because there's nothing eating it.
Ottoman couch, how handsome your furniture, lovelier now, but dressed for a funeral, begging you.
Yeah, they should be, because it's not native to Ohio. And once they take over, because it'll take over like an area.
Yes, because they're a harm to the native species that are in the environment.
In a way I do, in a way I don't.
Oh yes, always. And people have too much of a tendency to think that if we bring something in that might kill things, that it will help, and it doesn't. Usually, that species we lose control on.
I imagine. I imagine they should.
Yeah, I think so, especially because it might disrupt the natural process around it. So if it's invasive, it may have been introduced, and since there's nothing in that natural area to stop it, yeah, I think that we should be cautious about that. Yeah.
To hang in the dark of some parliamentary.
They eat the native plants, they won't eat the non-native invasives, and the invasives will take over like this did, where it's a monoculture, and that's all you have. So that means all the native plants can't grow, and you can't have your native ecosystem there that the birds depend on and the insects depend on.
For you. They laid it out for you. For you.
Not in Ohio, no.
Cattails out there, which is an invasive species.
Well, I know there's the honeysuckle and there's some purple flower, but I don't know the name of it.
This guy, no, stop.
All have to be things that are bad.
No.
Okay, well, Japanese beetles on the bad side. They came in the 50s, I think. There would be no horses in North America had they not brought horses over and had they gotten loose. We also had camels in the desert, I think, after World War I. So there have been several different things that have come, some good, some bad.
Canada, Colorado, smoke the ganja.
I think here is what I could speak to would be the narrowleaf cattails. A huge problem in many places is Phragmites, also purple loosestrife, garlic mustard. Those are Japanese knotweed. Anything else?
Bindweed. How about bindweed?
That's
what we called it. Pardon me?
The morning glory type, like bindweed.
Yeah.
Oh my God! And well, that's here. What we have in the Northeast. Also, you have kudzu down south in the Smoky Mountains. There are plants that we have that are native here that you take them over to Europe and they're invasive over there. So even Queen Anne's lace is a non-native. People don't call it invasive, but people don't realize it's a non-native plant. But autumn olive. Honeysuckles. Most honeysuckles you see are non-natives. You got Tartarian honeysuckle, Marrow's bush honeysuckle, privet. People love to plant privet. People don't realize. Nurseries sell invasive plants, and they're allowed to do this. And we're trying to talk to them to get them to stop doing it, but people keep buying them. Purple loosestrife people love. It's invasive, and you see it planted in people's front yards. They actually go out and buy it.
And I've had people tell me, I hate to say this, but I went on a home and garden tour, and a person had purple loosestrife in their yard, and the person that was doing the tour said, well, we know this is not good, but we control it. But the problem is you can't control, because you can't control where the seeds go. So
the birds will carry them.
Yeah, what about multiflora rose?
Multiflora rose is
another one.
Today is for you. They laid it out for you.
So these are narrow leaf cattail, and they are invasive. And so the Nature Center has received a $78,000 grant from Ohio EPA and a division of it to restore the marsh to what it used to look like, to the extent possible, with native, mostly herbaceous green plants and shrubs and some small trees. So that's what's going on. So what they did is they actually sprayed it with rodeo, which is it's toxic for the plant. It goes down into the roots and kills the plant, but it's minimally toxic to other living things that would be in the area. And so you can see they're all dying off. They're brown now, and that's normally they die off at the end of the fall, but they died off sooner because of the spraying. And then what they'll do is they'll cut these down, and then I'm not sure if it's going to be starting in the fall, the late fall, or if they'll wait until the spring to do some planting of the native plants. And then they'll still have to remove some of there's what's called a seed bank, so there's a lot of seeds that are stored in the ground, and so they'll have to keep removing the invasive species, the narrowleaf cattail and other invasive species. There's also a little purple loosestrife out here. There's some garlic mustard. I mean, there are some good things too, which hopefully either will come back from the seed bank, or we can, they'll be restored through new planting. So that's the plan. The other thing is, I don't know if you want to know about this, but this is a deer exclosure, and that was put up. What they did is they took off the invasive plants, the non-natives, and put up this fence first, and then took those out because they wanted to see what would grow here naturally. Now they've always also done some planting in there, but the purpose of the fence is to make sure the deer don't get in there, because deer eat a lot of the understory and a lot of the green plants, not the cattails, but other things that we would like to have here. So that was the idea, to see what was grown. But some of this was planted. It didn't just come from the seed bank. So that's, I don't know what else to tell you.
If they would go to like different florists to plant trees in their yards or whatever, to talk to the people who work there to find out what's local to their area and get those types of plants and stuff versus stuff that's not native to Ohio.
Just be aware of the nature around the biodiversity, what's growing, or what animals and things are in the area, and not to take one thing from one area and I mean, there's obviously plants and farming and things that we do, but just to be aware. So education, yeah.
Well, you see this guy walking down the street, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna run? Are you gonna... What the? You're cutting me off! Look, all I know is I'm pretty sure that I would not want an invasive species anywhere there.
Well, they can be careful. Certainly the greatest example of invasive species was the rats that came from the east and brought the plague that killed 25% of all of Europe. There probably was no way to stop that, but certainly We need to be careful what pets we have and what we do with them when we're through. We need to be careful of other people bringing things in, and we need to demand of our government to know what plans they have to stop various things that they think they can do through introducing new species.
The inspections that the agriculture portion of the government does when things are shipped in the country. They should find that stuff. I mean, and it isn't always even just into the country. We have issues in county to county here with borer beetles that are in ash trees. Like, you can't import wood from Cuyahoga County into Geauga County for that reason.
Well, it depends what kind of species it is.